What's the deal, fellow From fans? You know who it is. It is the Don, Tony Teflon, and I am here. Even though the show isn't, the Don is here representing for you. And we are going to be serious about this trip. We are going to take it very seriously today. We're going to break down what's going on in this show from the first half. We're going to figure out exactly what it is, and we are going to come to an end at this show. When we get done with this, we should be ready to know exactly what's going to happen in this show and everything else. I'd like to thank everybody who has come and joined the Don Tony Teflon on here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I truly appreciate it. This is the number one show for the fans, by the fans, the Don Tony Teflon. Let me say what up to the people, and we're going to get right into it. So let's say what up to the people who are here rocking with us right now. Support. We have Mostly Insane in here. Dwayne up in this piece, rocking with us. Smoke in the building, rocking with us. She does the most in the building. No Context up in here. Matthew is in here, rocking with us. Megan Smith is in the building, rocking with us. Our man Q is in the building, rocking with us. Bengal Cat is in here rocking with us, right? Our girl Q, my bad. I said my man. I saw our girl Q is in here. Let me go back and make sure. Make sure that's what it is, real quick. I'm sure that's what. Let me say it again. Our girl Q Williams is in the building, rocking with us. Let me get that right. Gotta make sure I get that right. H is in the building, running with us. Jen is up in here, rocking with us. Beautiful picture, you, Jen. Look at you, girl. You go, girl. You go, girl. Rocking with us right now. We got Nene in the building, rocking with us. Runner on the Hill is on there. The Copper Broom is in the building, rocking with us. Bengal Cat Chili is in here. Isis Blue is in the building, rocking with us right now. Matthew is in the building. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep the routine going. I'm glad y'all appreciate it. We're gonna keep it going and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying. Oh, Ty Williams says nice shirt. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's hard for me to rock green stuff because I got the green screen behind me, obviously, but for some reason this green took. So I said, "Fuck it, let's go." If I would have been see-through, I would have pulled it away and everything else. All right, we're gonna get right into it. From what we have seen in this show so far, I am 100% convinced. Obviously, I put the video out. Many of y'all watched the video. Thank you so much. 100% convinced that the man in yellow is the boy in white, who is also Martin. All the same person. All the same person. Now, I know a lot of people think the man in yellow is going to be in different forms. Now you see a Sophia thing. People try to go back and say, well, who could he be? Could he be Tilly? And I hear that Tilly thing all the time. I don't think so. I just think that Tilly was just someone who had survived a disease and was just happy to live life. You know, I don't think that was her importance, was that she was. I think that the man in yellow that we have seen in this piece right now, the form change we have seen is the form change we have seen. When dealing with Martin and also dealing with the boy in white, the boy in white is more of a projection type situation, more of an avatar type situation, avatar type situation there. I think that we have not seen the man in yellow in town before infiltrating anybody. I don't think that's ever going to come out. I think it's just this right now. This is what it is. This is what they came up with. This is why he's doing it. But as for the boy in white and everything else, and as for Tabitha dealing with the boy in white, I think that when we look at everything that we've seen, we can easily see how evil that boy in white is from the very beginning. TNX says straight up, could the man in yellow be the same person in two different realities? He could be the same person in two different realities. And I think that's what we're dealing with. We're definitely dealing with two different realities. We're dealing with parallel dimensions going on here. This is all not just happening. It is a pocket universe. a pocket dimension that they have them stuck in. But I do believe we are dealing with two different realities, two different universes where two different things have happened. All right. And I think that's what it is. I think I wish I had the picture. I would pull up for you right now. But when we look at the picture, right? When we look at the picture of Victor in Henry's house, it's impossible to say that that picture of Henry in that house. Can I grab it from somewhere real quick? From Henry, from MGM, Henry house picture of Victor and Louise. Let me see if I can find it. I have found something. Let me see if I can save this image real quick. Let me look at this. All right, let me see. I think I could pull this up for you. I go back here. All this stuff. Let's see. I think I can pull it up. Let's look at this image file. Would it be this one? All right. Yeah, right there. All right. When we look at these pictures here, I don't know, is this the picture? Can we actually see them? And you see this picture here. Oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. It's not the exact picture, I don't think. But when we look at this, let me zoom it up in so I can see it better. Here, right? And we see this should be Eloise in this picture. We see them as babies here. This Eloise in this picture is older than the Eloise that we see hanging out with Victor. And we look at the bottom picture that's all the way down there, and there's another one that shows them. You can see from here in this picture of them that they're much older in those pictures than what we've seen. And this picture that's cut off right here, this one that's cut off, is the one we really want to look at, because we can clearly see that this is Victor and Eloise, and they are almost teenagers in this picture. But they can't show it to you right now, but it's blocked off. But we could see that from those pictures, right off the bat, that we can see that there is no way that it is the exact same person dealing with that whole situation. It's just impossible. He is definitely older in those pictures. And if he's older in those pictures, then that means it cannot be the same Victor and Eloise that we have seen. It has to be somebody else. There has to be a different dimension where they were older and stuff, right? So that to me, that's just proof 100% that we're dealing with the parallel universe and stuff. And when I believe that the boy in white pushed Tabitha out, he pushed her into another universe. Now, you've heard me say it before, and I will say it again. When dealing with sci-fi, right, and dealing with fringe, especially because these people are the ones who helped and worked with Abrams on it, and that's their whole bad robot squad. They specifically say that in order to pass from dimensions, you must have velocity and trauma. That is what can push you through it. That's exactly what you get when you put Tabitha out the window. You get the velocity from her falling out there and going down, and trauma, extreme trauma from being pushed out of a window. Those two things exist right then. So when she gets pushed out of there, and you know the boy in white was lying the whole time. First off, she went up there and she was hearing Aunt Cooey, right? When she's walking up the steps, she was hearing all that Aunt Cooey shit. There was no kids up there. There was none there, not at all. Not one. Only thing that was up there was the boy in white. Was the boy in white making those Aunt Cooey? Was he the one saying those words to draw her up there? And as soon as he got her up there, he pushed her out. Again, when it's all said and done, we have to look at what we've seen and how this is all going to end. You know what I mean? How it's all going to end. And we see it in the lighthouse. The lighthouse is the key to this whole thing. Let me explain a little bit real quick and everything else. I'll hit the comments and I'll explain it. I thought Henry brought the man in yellow and not Tabby digging the hole. No, it was the digging of the hole. It was the digging of the hole because when the hole was dug, it exposed that this land, this place they are in, is just a set. It's just an escape room. It was built by the people who are conducting this experiment. The people that were there when they were there all believed that these were some supernatural creatures that emerged from the woods at night, and no one knew exactly what was going on. That's what they believed. But by Tabitha digging the hole, it exposed that these aren't supernatural creatures. These were creatures sleeping in shit downstairs on the rocks. And that's why he didn't want the hole dug, because it gave away what this place was. The wires give away what this place is. It's all one big set. That's why there's no wiring inside of the wires. So then you might say, if that's the case, and thank you so much, Fatima, for gifting a membership. I really appreciate it. And if you might say, then why did they go through all this? Obviously, it's to conduct an experiment on these people, right? Most likely, the man in yellow, it's either one or two things. The man in yellow was working with them. He was infected by some type of experimental alien parasites that caused him to turn into who he is. And now they have him trapped inside there conducting experiments. Or they bagged up some type of alien creature and they trapped him in this pocket dimension, and they're feeding this person over and over again, trying to understand more about him, and possibly, if it's the government, use him as a weapon. My man Reels, thank you so much for the gifted memberships, man. If y'all got those memberships and everything else, make sure you thank those two people who gifted them out. That's what's going on here. It's really not going to be anything else when it's all said and done. It's going to be one of those two things. This is not, so if you want to say it's some mythological creature from back in the day, I 100% agree that it is, but that creature is not going to be from the planet Earth, therefore making this a 100% alien that they bagged up, and they're most likely over here running experiments trying to see how they can use their power for itself. And that is probably someone from a parallel universe who is the one who has pulled it off. And they're conducting the experiment. They couldn't do it on the people in their universe, so they're doing it on a different universe and conducting it on them. And we look at Jade, and we look at Tabitha, and we deal with all this reincarnation stuff. What is this reincarnation? Is it a true form of reincarnation? I don't think it is at all. I just think it's more of a memory swap. I believe that the memories of these people have been swapped into these people's bodies constantly, like they die. I don't think that as soon as they die, their soul goes into another body. I think they pick somebody. They pick someone. They picked Jade this time. They had a black dude. They picked him. And they just implant all the memories inside of them. And then they start again to try to figure out whatever this experiment is that they're running over and over again. And that is why the man in yellow enjoys this, because it always ends the same way. Everything we have seen, we have already seen in this show. And that's what it's going to be. You know, it's going to be this when it's all said and done. We've seen it all. There's nothing we haven't seen that they're talking about now. Anything they've already brought up, they've already showed in the first 3 seasons. There's not one mystery here that they have said that can make you think, oh, we haven't seen it. They said just things about the dreams. Well, we already knew about the dreams. Nathan already talked about the dreams, so I already talked about that. That was already done. They said the thing about, oh, the town tears itself apart, and Jade is going to get tore apart by the town. We've already seen that happen. It already happened in the season. Do y'all remember when the town already tore itself apart, or attempted to, almost did, got stopped? But do you remember when that already happened? It already happened. The exact same thing happened already. Do y'all remember when that happened? I'm going to give you a second to think about it. Anybody? Season 3, episode 1. I don't know if it's episode 1. I think it wasn't episode 1. All right. It already happened once already with the town trying to tear each other apart. Number one, the first time you seen it happen was when the food shortage started happening and they were ready to come to blows for the food, and Randall wanted to take the goat and do all that. But the most important time it happened was that it happened to Boyd, when Boyd almost got shot up, right? What did that guy say to him before he shot him? He said, I like you, Boyd, but ever since you went in the forest, bad stuff's been happening. You are to blame for this. And that's when he shot him. That's exactly what's going to happen when it's all said and done dealing with Jade. They're blaming him for that. So we already seen a minor thing of this happen. I'm saying everything we've already that they're talking about already happened. The reason why Boyd got shot, and he specifically said it, was, I like you, but it's your fault all this is happening. So his thing was to kill Boyd. And that's what it was all about. And that's the way it went down. And that's what it is. So all these things that we have seen already in this show that they're bringing up, we have already seen, right? This is a cycle that has already been happening. And Jade's quantum computing thing is the technology that has given them the ability to create wormholes and allow them to go in the future and bag up this alien. This is what it is. You know what I mean? This is the way it goes. There's no doubt about it. I promise you that when this is all said and done, that is what we're going to see here, without a shadow of a doubt. I guarantee it. It's not going to be anything else. I know that people would like to believe, that it's going to be some situation where there's God is involved in this whole thing, and there's fallen angels. And I love Taryn. I heard this whole theory, very, very well thought out theory. But in the end, it ain't going to be no damn fallen angels and no gods, or it's not going to be that. It's going to be much simpler than that. It's not going to be as strong as that. That's just too much. Now, we know that they have some people asking for Phil. Phil knows, and if he is able to come, I am sure Phil will come. But we'll see. All right, let's bring on Real. What's going on, man?
Brother, what's going on?
How are you?
All is well. How you?
I'm good. Everything's
That's
good,
a
man.
nice office you got back there.
Thank you very much, man. Thank
Yes,
you very much.
indeed. You know what
Thank
I'm saying?
you.
I heard the window got fucked up a couple weeks ago.
Listen, man. Things happen, man.
You know what I'm saying? But
There's weather happens in there and stuff.
but one thing you brought up about Reggie. Hold on, let me turn this off real quick. I got the surveillance system loud as hell down here. Hold on. All right, here we go. Um one interesting thing. Yo, shout out to the chat. I couldn't really see the chat. I just pressed the button, threw some memberships down there. Shout out to everybody
Yeah.
down there.
I'll
I
put the
can't.
call-in number in a little bit. Just let me rock for a little bit, like we'll take calls in like an hour after I'm.
Yeah, let Tony cook. You know what I'm
And
saying?
then I'll
But
let
I
you.
definitely want to say something about what you said about
Oh,
Reggie.
yep.
What do you think? Do you think that do you think that something had possessed Reggie or was fucking with Reggie at all? Because the man in yellow quoted him
Mm-hmm.
when that was like one of the first things he said to Julie was like, that was the first thing. Humans are so fragile.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing that Reggie said. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
I think he just seen it. He
Oh,
watched.
okay.
Because when we're dealing with, and I do believe that these people who are watching are in a like a let's say a fourth dimension type situation, or the fourth dimensional beings, I should say.
Okay.
They can see everything. They can see everything that's going on. They can see through roofs. They can see inside of people's bodies. That is the reason why you see the effects of what happened, but you can't see them actually doing it. So when you see the whole his girlfriend's body crack open and everything else, and he's seen the body crack open, but there was nothing cracking it open. Well, if there was someone in the fourth dimension, they
Yeah,
would be
that's fourth
cracking it
dimensional
open.
shit.
Yeah, they would be cracking
Or
it
fifth
open.
dimensional.
What's
That's
it?
fifth dimensional shit where you
Fifth,
can't see them. Yeah.
fourth and fifth, right? Because
Fourth and fifth. Yeah.
yeah, because we live in the third 3D dimension.
We observe the third dimension, but I think we're fourth dimensional.
You do. We live in the third three-dimensional world, and we are in the third dimension, but we
Right. And we're able to see it and observe it and everything. But
mm-hmm.
people in a dimension are not able to observe that dimension.
Yeah,
So
well, if people in the fourth dimension could see the third, but the third wouldn't see them in the fourth.
right, right. All right. So yeah, you're right. But so yeah, that would it. So do you think that's the same case with him quoting Ethan as well?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're just watching
They
them
just
all.
watched him. That's how he knew what was in. That's how he knew Tabitha was digging the hole.
That's why he could see him digging a hole. He
Right.
could see
Okay.
right
I
through.
agree with you on that.
He
I
could
agree
see
with
through
you on that. The only thing that doesn't explain why the monsters let people hide when before Boy got the talisman. Because if they could see everything, surely they knew where the hiding spaces were. Surely they knew they could see each person. If they wanted to get so and so, they could just go and get them because they could see it, right?
the people who are conducting the experiment can see it, yes. So if they could notify the monsters and tell them where they're hiding 100%, but it's a game.
Okay.
It's a game. Like the talismans have no special powers keeping these creatures out. That's just part of the game. And that's it. When Randall held the talisman up, they said, it don't work like that, sweetie. Because
Right.
that's not part of the game. The game don't work like that.
Right.
They'll tell you themselves. They don't know why if we hang these by the doors, they work. It just does. It just does because it's just a game. And that's
I would love to know whose idea that was and who was the first person to try and test the talismans out. Like, how did this go and how did this evolve? What happened after the death of Abby is what we're missing. I would really like to see what happened. I would like to see who named Colony House. I would like to see how, was there a choosing ceremony right afterwards or something? Like, I would like to know, like, all of these things because, I mean, we got the talismans, but we don't really know how they work. I just know I was in that hut and they didn't come in there and get me. But how did they know to split them all up and they work for multiple buildings? And like, I guess they just had to test the waters and shit.
Yeah, well, I think Boyd got it when they didn't come in and kill him when he was in the cave, even though there was just vines hanging in front, right? So it wasn't no physical structure in front. It was just vines, and they didn't come in there and see it. But as you could see, those things were placed on that wall. It wasn't like someone was in there and placed them on that wall.
Yeah, someone hinged them in there, like stuck them in there.
Yeah, so someone who knew that Boyd was going to stumble into that hole at that time put those things in that wall for him to find.
Okay, so that's where that okay, so I agree with you there that people can see things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's another explanation for this as well, is that these things have happened over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they knew the hole was being dug. That's why they knew the things that were being said. Even the slow walker on the porch of Colony House in episode 2, season 1, asked Julie, "Don't you remember me?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm thinking the reason why they have this knowledge and know things is because it's happened over and over again. Because I just feel like if the monsters had telepathy, I mean, the monster said, "We know all your names. We know everybody's name."
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have any kind of telepathy or what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, telepathy. I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
telekinesis. No, telepathy. I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think they have any kind of telepathy. I think they actually have experienced this stuff over and over again. You got the ambulance coming into town. You
Mm-hmm.
got the situation with Randall getting left behind and all of these things. Like, I think they know because the shit's happened over and over, not because they have any kind of like insight as far or outsight as far as like
Yeah, I think they do have insight. They don't have telepathy. They can't read anyone's mind. I don't think that. But I think that the people who are above everyone controlling them, let's just call them the watchers for lack of a better word,
right,
can download whatever information they need for them to use into them. And they give them whatever information they need to know. I think that, them saying, Julie, don't you remember me? That just means that to me, that person, it was that Julie's going to run into that person story walking at some point, whether it's the man in yellow or she sees when that boy is getting turned into the creature, and that's how they remember him. But I think that's that's what he means. Like, he's seen Julie before. It's like the man in yellow seen Julie before, and he said we have to stop running into each other like this. Quite possible it's a situation like that. So I think it's more like that when it comes down to it. And I just think that these creatures are being. That's why when Boyd stood up there and he screamed, "You can't break me!" Right? He screamed that. There was nobody around him when he said that. But then the creature said, "You said we couldn't break you."
yeah,
Right?
that's what you said. Yeah,
You're right. So it was, to me, the watchers who watched it heard Boyd talk that shit and then downloaded that information, or maybe even the watchers are talking through the creatures at that time. Like, the watchers
hmm
are the ones. So, because you said we couldn't break you. So if the watchers are there, and the watchers like, "Oh, we're taking this personal. You're saying we can't
Oh
break
man,
you."
you just sparked something in my brain real quick. Like, cause okay, so Boyd, he hollers that out in the air. He's like, "You
Mm-hmm.
hear that? You
Mm-hmm.
don't fucking break me." You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he's hollering it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the monster had him in the barn, the monster specifically said, "You said this place couldn't break you."
Mm-hmm.
So this place couldn't break you is meaning that this place is an actual conscious thing that's trying to break him. Like,
I think it's this place, this escape room couldn't break you. Like,
right.
let me put it like this. Say me and you, we go into a haunted house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're inside the haunted house. Now we know that we're in the haunted house, and there could be people who are behind the controls of the haunted house making it run, right? And
Right.
we're in the haunted house, and I'm screaming. They can hear us, right? Because they got speakers or whatever. And I'm screaming in there like, "You motherfuckers can't scare me. I ain't scared of this shit." And then
Yeah.
the people there say, "Oh yeah, we can't scare your ass." And then they hit some button and something happens. I think it's something like
Yeah,
that.
you fall through
So,
a trap door or something, and then there's a
yeah,
monster down there saying, "Oh, we can't scare you.
yeah,
Is
oh, we
this
can't
scary
scare you.
enough
Yeah,
for you?"
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
people
yeah,
controlling
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
"Oh, you think we can't scare you, motherfucker? Oh, he thinks that hit that trap door on this motherfucker. Let's see if that scares his ass."
Yo,
I
I
think.
love all of the theories, man. Like, I hear what you're saying about the deities and stuff, and you're thinking that that's not a reality on the show. Let me ask you a question though.
Mhm.
All the symbolism, can we agree that this symbolism is definitely heavy on the show? Like that they actually like these symbols are there, you know what I'm saying? So what
Mhm.
was if we can agree on that, then what would be the purpose of the symbolism leading us towards that if it wasn't anything to do with that?
I think it's. I'm not saying it's not about the symbol. I said there's symbolism in there, right?
Hmm.
So if you were to build, and let's just say this whole world is built in this spot, right? And they built this whole thing out, this to trap people in there, whatever. And they put certain things in there. Now humans, we always try to rationalize things that we don't understand as human beings, right? So
Fact.
when we look at certain things like, people have looked at potato chips and Jesus is in the potato chip, where we see faces and things where it's not faces because that's the way our brains work. So I do think there are symbols in here that humans have interpreted in a certain way. And I do think all the symbols do mean something. Like I think the symbols on the talisman mean something. I think the Jenga board means something. I do not, the owls that they show, that means something. I don't discredit any of that. I think all that is meaningful and it will lead to the same spot in the end. I
Mhm.
just think the spot is that there are some type of scientist type people who are conducting this experiment on this
Okay.
major escape room type place for whatever reason that they're doing it, whether it's a trapped alien and they trap this entity in there, and now that they got the entity trapped in there, they're going to keep seeing and this entity feeds on fear, whatever it feeds does. They're going to keep trying to see how it works and possibly use it for some of their own benefits later on in life. Kind
Okay.
of like the military and Welcome to Dairy show, right? They
Welcome to that. Yeah, 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 yeah,
they
yeah.
knew we had some powers, but they wanted to maximize
I
that power.
think it's more like that. That's what I think it's more like. See, the difference between what you're saying and it welcome to dairy is that you're saying that the people that are in control of this place
Hmm.
is where your scientific element comes in.
Yes.
I think it's more like it welcome to dairy where this thing is supernatural, right? And the military has knowledge of it and they're observing it and they're fucking with this thing.
Hmm. I
Like
think.
I think that and another thing is that actually tracks more with what we see in human history as we became more advanced. Like you had your shamans and you had your people that practiced the different mysticisms and things and all these different schools of thought all over the world. And as humans became more advanced technology wise, we started observing these things and trying to use these things and reduplicate these things like with your MK Ultra situation where they were literally trying to turn people into psychic soldiers. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And give them psychic abilities. So, you know, if the military can admit that these things are real there, then why can't my brother Tony Teflon?
Well, admit that what
That
that's what.
this yeah, that this is
So I
that's
think what happens with it Welcome to Dairy, I think it's a two different. I think it's the same thing, but there are two different spots. So in it Welcome to Dairy, from what I know on it and everything, is that the military wants to control it, but they haven't been able to capture it yet. I think here they have captured it, right? So that would be
oh, oh, oh,
that
oh,
would be the
oh, oh,
difference. Like
oh, got
in Welcome to Dairy, they want to capture it, they want to use this power, but they haven't been able to get it yet. Here, I think they have captured it.
have captured it
You got it,
in there. And okay, okay,
and
okay.
they're running it. So that would be the only difference between that whole situation.
And you see that this place has been bringing military personnel to the place here.
Hmm.
You know, you got Boyd and Abby. You have Martin. You know, Acosta has a badge. There's the sheriff's badge and the deputy's badge that was left behind by somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So military and law enforcement has been getting dragged into this place for quite some time. I mean, look at Martin.
Yeah, and Randall specifically says, Jim says that this is what they would do. What he said during the Nazi times and stuff or whatever. He said this is a experiment that they would run. And he brought it up in the show.
Right. He was talking about the I can't really name the experiment. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's the experiment where you test the limits of the human mind.
Yeah, so they've done it, and you know we've seen movies, Manchurian Candidate. We've seen people use acid for the military. CIA has used acid on people for different things. Human history, we have done it to every species that we've ever encountered. Human beings have. It doesn't matter what it is. If we capture it, we box it up and we experiment on it. It doesn't matter if it's a bird, a walrus, a lion, a tiger, a butterfly, any insect. If we catch it, we experiment on it. And then we try to see if we can use those things in our lives for better or for worse. But that's the nature of human beings. That's what we have done throughout the history of time. From the beginning of time, human beings have always done it. We try to dominate it. We dominated eagles and got them to hunt for us. We dominated other birds of prey and got them to hunt for us. We dominated dogs and got them to hunt for us.
Dogs, horses,
Horses. It doesn't
you
matter
name
what
it.
it is.
Yeah.
But right
And
now,
when we want to learn things about ourselves, we use sheep and we use mice and we
yeah,
use rabbit in labs and to test our medicines and all kinds of shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
we sent dogs into outer space before humans. We always do shit like that to other creatures before we do it. And this is exactly what I think is going on. And
So
again,
you're saying that they have achieved it. Like they all right, so let's back up. You saying that they use space technology to go back and get the thing and trap it.
They can, yes, they have it contained now in this place. It can't leave. It's in this part now. They're running experiments, and I think that look, I think that those worms, those parasites, are part of the experiment. I think that was part of their experiment. Those parasites, that they're putting those parasites in people or in things and seeing how they affect it. And now, and all these things that these people are doing are all just experiments to see exactly how it goes.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So you're tossing away the whole shit then. You're saying
what?
There's no reincarnation, there's no deity that they uh uh made a deal with. There's no like you just saying, yo, that shit is what the town is telling you to run the experiment on the people.
I think that they may have made a deal.
Okay.
But it's a deal to get experimented on that they didn't realize they were going to get experimented on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so they may have someone may have went to them. There may be someone there and said, listen, if you do this, we'll give you a deal. And they didn't realize what the deal really was, but to be experimented on. I would liken it to if you went to a hospital and they asked you, hey, if you sign this over, blah 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 blah. We're gonna take this and everything else, and then they take your umbilical cord, and then they're using all the stuff for it instead.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, for a baby, and you just sign.
Or like you go, they have some new medication. They say, hey, we have this new procedure that'll cure back pain or whatever, and you go sign up if you're experiencing back pain. You can be a part of this study, yada yada yada. You get the study, but you don't know that it was going to be as deep as you didn't know that they was going to put like a microchip in your spinal cord and shit.
Yes.
And have, now you can run like the Flash and shit. But you know what I'm saying? Or now your legs don't work no more. Either way, you know what I mean? Like
I think it's just like that. And the people who they did it to in the beginning, they talked to them in the times. Right.
That goes back to your genie theory, because when you wish from something from a genie, you don't get what you get what you ask for, but it ain't the way you asked for it.
Exactly.
You have to be very choosy with your words when you when you make a wish with an evil deity, like such
Hmm.
as a jinn. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? I looked at it more like the monkey's paw kind of thing, where you make this wish and the wish comes out of what you asked for, but it's all fucked up, not what you thought it was gonna be. Like you know, you wish for a brand new car, you get the car, but then you lose the ability to drive it or some shit. But you
Yeah, or
still own the car.
you wish for $1 million and then there's a million deer in your house.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Or something like that and everything else, you know. Listen, I understand. I see the man in the man in black, and he's over here running his mouth in the chat as he always does, and I appreciate him doing it. But the bottom line is this:
What's the man in black saying? Let me
you
pull up
just
that
saying, no,
chat.
this is the biggest yoga reach of all time. Listen, the bottom line is, anything I'm saying, I can give you direct proof in the show that it's happened. And
Okay.
can
Okay.
anyone tell me that it hasn't happened? Can anyone tell me that why it's wrong? I'm here for it. I put the phone lines open every time for all this. You know what I mean? And I don't just do it just to do it. I do it because I am here. If you can prove me, I will be the first one to say I am wrong. I am wrong about it. I'm the first one to say that this is what it is. But if you
Well,
can't,
yeah, it's one of them kind of things though only time will tell. I
that's
think
it.
that is
That's all you can do.
definitely supernatural. I
Mm-hmm.
think in my, just me.
Yeah.
I was the first YouTuber talking coming from the Native American and the
Mm-hmm.
indigenous perspective. Nobody else was talking about that before me.
You're correct, 100%.
And nobody was talking about the aliens and shit before you.
No doubt
Now,
about
now I'm sure they like most people were saying like vampires and shit like that.
it.
I
Yeah.
remember during
They were
season
saying
one.
vampires and they were saying fairies. And
Hey, and
the
the
fairies,
fairies, yeah.
it's just so obvious. It would just be to me, and usually that most obvious thing is right. And I'll be the first one to say, usually the most obvious thing is what it is. But if they really did have a conversation with Norman and the Lake of Tears and there's secret fairies there, and it turns out to be fairies, now to me that's whack. I put you onto that one movie about fairies, right?
Yeah.
And that movie had a lot of from. It looked like from almost.
It was just like from you talking about the M. Night Shyamalan joint.
Yeah, with that one with the fairies and they took people's stuff and
Dakota
yeah,
Fanning
Dakota
joint.
Fanning and all that. Listen, it looked just like it.
The
So,
Watchers.
the Watchers, and it's called the Watchers, right? So listen, it looks like just like it. So if it turns out that that's the case, then it does. I would not be mad at it if it does. I would just say that that's what it is. You know what I mean? But I will still think that if that's the case, that they caught a fairy and they're experimenting on it and they're doing this stuff to it, it would still be the same. I still think it's the same situation going on. The situation's not going to change. This is an experiment. This isn't them trapped somewhere and no one above the man in yellow and them conducting something. It's been brought up too many times. Once by Jim, another time by Randall, that another time by Jade. That this is Jade said specifically. This is you guys are like rats in the maze looking for the cheese, but it's people like me who place the cheese. That's not a throwaway line. We're trying to tell you something that this is a maze. This is and he's also said that this is an escape room. It's been proven that this place is a set because of the wires prove that it's a set. That's what they showed us when they showed you that the wires didn't lead anywhere. They were telling you that this place was built. It's a set. It's a giant escape room for these people to be in. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's why that stuff is put there. It's all was set up. They built this whole spot just to have these people in here. And why would you do that? To conduct experiments on these people.
I mean, what fucked me up was I would have been asking them kind of questions like the water's running, the electric is going. Who the fuck is paying the bill? Why?
Yeah.
And this is obviously a place somewhere to where this road brought us. So why haven't the people cut the electric off yet? You know what I'm saying?
Why
Like,
why the electric go? Why the plumbing work?
why?
Why does the water keep going? Why does the water keep going here? How come all of a sudden this Jay just, you think it's just a coincidence that Boyd just walked outside and all of a sudden there was goats there waiting? They were goats there waiting not just for Boyd, but for the people who came before Boyd and the people who came before him. He's not the first person to ever find the goat. He's the first person of this cycle to find the goat.
Right.
Because it's impossible. I'm doing a Victor video tomorrow, and I'll drop it tomorrow. But in that video, I specifically say, Victor's been lying this whole time. And you have to look at everything that's been going on with Victor. Victor did not survive in this place by himself until Donna and them got there. That's not what happened. That's what they want you to think, but it's impossible for that to be. And people could say, oh, well, he ate peaches. You can only eat, and I looked it up, you can survive on canned peaches for 3 months before your body revolts and you die. 3 months.
Yeah. You can't just sit there and eat peaches.
3 months is all it could be.
You would die of a serious.
You're dead.
It would be a horrible death if you sat there and ate peaches.
That's it. So there's none of that. And who know? And just because there's a whole place that is a thing full of peaches, and they don't carry fucking can openers in there, right? You're talking about a kid who was like 6, 7 years old. But
he was 10.
Let's say he's 10. A 10-year-old. You don't have a can open, it's going to be pretty hard to open up that thing of peaches. Now, he'd have to go to house, and maybe there's one in there that got it open for him. But that's a scary situation. So the whole thing with Victor, it's a lie. The timeline is a lie. And if you watch my video, I got more, but you'll see this in the video. He's lying about the whole situation. There were people that were there after Miranda and them died in that massacre, before Donna and Boyd got there. There was a whole group of people there that he never talks about and they've never brought up. They want you to believe he was there by himself, but the proof is in the pudding. All you got to do is
Did you do your voiceover already?
No, not yet.
I'm gonna give you a couple notes real quick.
But real quick. There's easily to see it, because if you go to the cars that Fatima's beating up, those cars are from the 80s and 90s and not 70s cars. So Victor was there in the 70s. Why are there all those 80s and 90 cars up in there unless people were coming up in there from the 80s and 90s? And why doesn't he ever talk about all those other people that were there and those people got massacred and wiped out too?
Yo, I'm with you on that. First of all, how did he move all the bodies by himself as a little kid, 10 years old? No way he's moving all of those bodies.
It's impossible.
How does he move the cars into the car graveyard? No way he's got a better chance of moving the cars than he's got of moving the bodies, to be honest with you.
But you gotta know how to drive a car, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta know how you gotta know how to just drive it. And
well, little boys could catch on to that really fast. Like,
if it's not a standard. But what if the car was standard?
We was driving farm equipment and shit.
Yeah, but if it's the standard, Victor ain't pulling that shit up. He's bucking that shit like a Bronco.
Yeah. But then again, I had somebody to teach me too. So yeah, you're right about that. And then you got, okay, I'm gonna show you this. Here's the couple hints about Victor. Victor is keeping count too. He knew that the place had to have 47 people in there, and they showed it to us several times. When he started digging the graves, he knew exactly how many graves to dig for the people that were going to die in the Colony House Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They already had the graves dug. That's why we never saw the whole funeral and shit with them. Victor had already dug them holes. He already had it done. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm just getting a head start. This, boom. So the second thing is, when Victor saw Elgin for the first time, that's when he learned about a bus rolling into town. That's when Boyd learned about the bus rolling into town.
Yep.
And that's when Victor sat there and started counting. Victor sat there and started counting while Boyd and them was talking. I'm gonna tell you another time. When Sophia came in, Victor starts counting again. So this motherfucker knows that it's supposed to be a certain amount of people in there.
Mm-hmm.
And other times where he's counting is where he's measuring the distance that the trees are moving. And they've been very vague about that. They've really not given us any information or clues on how far these trees are supposedly moving and everything. But they did tell us that they are moving. The trees are moving and shit, right? Because Victor says that to Ethan. So there you have a couple of notes to that point to Victor knows something that he is hiding from us. And
Yes,
when you talk about Peaches and Victor, that is connected directly to someone else who has shown us several times that they will keep things away from the people and probably is keeping something major away from the people. And that is Donna, the one who was giving him the peaches.
Yeah, listen, I've said from the beginning when I first started that if you are conducting an experiment, that you're going to want an inside person who knows about what's going on to monitor everything from the inside. And I believe Donna is that person. I'm going to die on that hill, and I believe the man in yellow and number there to kill Donna. I think that Donna got, and that's why she's so afraid. I think that's why she went upstairs and started crying to Boyd, saying, "I'm afraid." Why would Donna all of a sudden be afraid? She doesn't seen the worst of everything in this place. She
And
doesn't.
why would she all of a sudden decide to go on one of those food runs and shit?
Yeah, I mean, she's seen her sister get ripped apart. She's seen other people get ripped apart. She wasn't scared but now all of a sudden, I'm so afraid. She's afraid because she knows she fucked up because she started caring about her test subjects, and she allowed them to get out of the place where Tabitha got too far when she wasn't supposed to, and now they're coming to take Donna out, and Donna's going down.
That's a very interesting. Now, I don't think you're saying she's a mole. So you're on the Donna's the mole theory, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think my theory, I don't think she's necessarily a mole, but I do wholeheartedly believe she is hiding information and saying because that's what they have shown us about this character.
And let's put that in there real quick. That Carla says, also, how strange is that when Tabitha was in the real world in Victor's childhood bedroom, he had peach wallpaper.
Facts.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. It's any, listen, I can easily, and I really mean it, I can easily see this in the end, and it may hurt people's feelings of this being a type of simulation when it's all said and done. I could easily see that these people could be in a matrix type world in this place, like a big holodeck world, like in Star Trek, I would say more like that, like a big holodeck world in this place that they're all in there, and this is what it could be. Could easily see it being a situation like that, 100%.
So these people have created this holodeck with Jade's technology.
Yep.
So that they used his technology.
Yep.
I'm just paraphrasing your theory.
Mm-hmm.
They use his technology.
Yep.
To trap this entity and
Yep.
study this entity so that they could possibly weaponize it.
Yes.
And now my question would be, why the people? Who are these people and why are these people chosen to be brought here? People that have had dreams about this place before, people that have heard voices on the outside, people that have seen the first person die in their arms being Brian Kelly and then a couple coming in named Brian and Kelly. Like, why are these people chosen to be brought into this place?
I think when you look at the main characters that I think these people have tapped into, because I believe that they're in, let's say, the pocket dimension that's in there, right? And these people somehow in their regular life in there dreamed about this place and tapped into the dimension. So in order to keep the dimension a secret, they bring those people in there and keep them in there. So some people have the ability to do it. Again, if we look at it with the fringe situation, when they were doing experiments to try to learn about the parallel dimension, they dosed all the test subjects with LSD, and then they used a certain frequency of song, and that allowed that person to tap into the other dimension and hear everything that they thought was just noise, but they were able to hear things in the other dimension. And then when that girl came back from there, she started painting everything that she's seen while she was in that state. And then after the experiments, she still was able to do it. So I think that some of these people, for whatever reason, were able to tap into it, and to not get this place exposed, they kidnap them and bring them in there and put them in that place. That's what I think is going on with this place. It's just again, it's just
Okay, so I got you. So you're talking high level planning.
Yes.
Like, I mean, the craziest level of planning, because you have Bacta, Marielle, Elgin, Randall.
Well,
And I would even
Elgin seen his so Elgin seen his thing when he was on the bus already.
okay,
And he
true
fell
indeed.
asleep, right? So that's how all he's seen was the boy in white singing the song that was of the evil entity, which proves more that the boy in white is the man in
And
white.
I have so much problems with that. Like, I have so many problems with that, because what in hell does that even have to do with Fatima's pregnancy at all? Like, what does that even have to do with Fatima's pregnancy? I mean, it is connected in a way, like, because that whole situation with the cicadas is what the cicadas came from Smiles Davis' body, and she ends up giving rebirth to him. So yeah, it is kind of connected. But what in the hell did the boy in white stand in there? So the boy in white has now been implicated in the nursery rhyme now.
Yes.
And he's also the one who pointed out the tree for Boy to get into.
Yep.
And so he's been right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the boy in white, it was all a big setup. It was a big setup to get Boyd to bring those worms back into town and have them put them in Smile Monster and release them so they could release that entity in the town. And the boy in white.
So the level of planning had to be crazy, because how in the world do they get well, without Elgin, let's take Elgin out of it, but you have Bacta, Marielle, and Randall. Yep. And we could possibly say Tilly. She said the cards was showing her about this place, but she didn't recognize the sign. She said that. So let's just throw Tilly in there for fun. She got killed anyway. It don't matter, right? So, but what level of planning had? Oh, the Brian Kelly couple. That's another one. The level of planning to get all of those people on a bus at the same time is amazing. Like, how the fuck would they have done that?
Well, that how you get certain people to arrive on the same bus and everything, it's hard to say how exactly. I believe that the people on the bus, the person that was meant to be there was Marielle, and everybody else on that bus was just a minnow inside of the shark's net. And they all got, and it's all inside of it. As for the dreams, it's commonly known inside.
Well, Bacta is heavy though.
But Bacta just said that she heard that song was a nursery rhyme that she heard.
Right, and she gets there right before that whole incident with the nursery rhyme shit. That's crazy, bro.
So she knew the nursery rhyme as a nursery rhyme. So that's what she knew. So I won't say that she knew anything about the place. She just knew that nursery rhyme. The people in there could have been using that.
Well, then you have Randall. He's carving one of those totems.
It could be, but she started doing it when he got there, just like Fatima's now doing her thing when she got there, right? And so I would say that in the end, when it comes down to it, Elgin got his vision when he was in there. Again, it comes forth in dreams. When we look at sci-fi and parallel universes, multiverses, the number one trope is that when you sleep, you enter a multiverse of yourself, and you can see in the multiverse. They say that even to this day in our life, that when you're dreaming, your actual dream is you are tapping into a multiple dimension of something that's happening to you in a multiple dimension, and you're experiencing it. And before you experience it, say if you're going to die, you wake up. You know, there's been many a times that when I've dreamed, I have met people that I have never met before in my life. Had never seen them before in my life, but I was great friends with them in this dream. Knew everything about me and everything else, and it felt like we were friends forever. But in my real life, I have never seen them before ever.
I have had dreams about people that I've never met before and then meet them later.
Yeah, see, so when
that happened to me once when I was a real little kid, like I was probably around 5 having the dream, and then I met this girl when I was 9. And I was like, this is the girl from the dream. It's her same name and everything. I'm not gonna say her name because like it's a very unique name and like, but that's how I was fucked up off that. That happened when I was 9. But then it happened again in my 20s, man. Like the same thing happened. I was having a dream about this dude who was a rapper. And boom, I met him and everything. And like I ended up doing several art projects for him and music for him and everything. Like, it was he actually ended up being the reason why I started my studio in the crib.
I had a dream about a woman I was dating, and then I realized I was dreaming. And I asked her what her name was, and then she was like, "You know my name, blah, blah." I was like, "I just need to hear you say it." And she said it. I have the name written down. And then I said, "How long have we been dating? How do we meet?" And she was like, "Why are you asking me this?" It's like, "I just need to know, how do we meet?" And she was like, "We met through your best friend, blah, blah, blah." And then I woke up and I had the name. I wrote the name down and I looked it up on Facebook, and I can't find anybody of that name at all. At all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I see somebody said Chaz in there said Cap. Like, yo, no cap. Like I don't have no agenda here. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. Like, that's no cap. Like, that happened to me. Several things, strange events or weird circumstances have happened to me in my life. Like, and my grandmother used to talk about some of that stuff too. And I used to think that it was just because my grandmother had introduced me to that school of thought and I was thinking that these things were happening, but some of these things happen with multiple people. Like we experienced something together, and so okay, so check this out, right? To the person who says Cap, check this. The military literally kidnapped people, drugged them, made them procreate, make babies together so that they could raise genetically enhanced psychic children. This is documented proof that our government did this. So if the government believes it, how am I capping?
No, 100%. Listen, people can say what they want, and you don't want to believe nothing. No one's listen. I have no agenda. Real has no agenda. I'm just that when I talked about what happened in my dream, that's just my real. It has nothing to do with the damn show. I don't get. Let me be abundantly clear to everybody who ever watches this video. I don't give a goddamn if I'm wrong about everything I say. I say what I say because this is what the show shows me. And maybe I look a little bit deeper than the average person, and that's why I'm able to pick this stuff up. But my track record for all of my 10 years on YouTube speaks for itself about me being right in these shows, and this is what it is. You can go through all my videos from back in the day to today. And all my shit, I don't get it all right, but I get most of that shit right. So I'm gonna stick with my track record. This is what the show has shown me. Maybe it's flown above your head because it's just easy to say it's magic. It's easy. That's the easiest way out. Yeah, it's magic. That's why all this shit's happening. That's not why it's happening. It's more than that. It's gonna be more than that. And it's a simple, and that's what they.
And that would be, and I would be disappointed if it didn't have some governmental influence. The rendezvous thing is where I'm at with that. I think rendezvous is a religious tech organization. You know, this is why we're seeing the priests. We've seen 3 priests already in this show. You know what I mean? I believe that's where that leads to. You know, they haven't given us too much information about it, but rendezvous has been in every single episode this season. You know, it was even in the first episode when you see the Matthews passing by the post office. Boyd's rendezvous trailer is right next to the post office. So it was in episode 1. And they said that the answers are in episode 1.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I believe the rendezvous is the cover for them in the other parallel universe. It's their cover for it. And it's that, or that's what they use. It's like when you're selling weed out of a deli. You know what I mean? The weed, really, you're moving weed, but it looks like a deli. And I think the rendezvous is just like that. You know, that's what they're using as a cover.
You order the corned beef with the extra cabbage and bango, there's something else in your bag.
Exactly. Or you go to McDonald's and you get a really Happy Meal. Like somebody was doing that, putting weed up in the Happy Meal, right? They got busted doing it, but they was doing it and everything. I think that's what rendezvous is. I think it's a situation dealing.
It was a Wendy's for me. I got weed at the Wendy's.
What up, Phil?
It's a shell company. Yes, I believe that it's definitely a shell company, and that's what rendezvous.
Bro came out of nowhere and said it was a Wendy's for me. I got weed at the Wendy's.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Came with a super salad bar ticket.
I had to make a cabbage reference with mine. So,
I mean, let's go through it real quick. Tabitha ends up at Victor's father's house, right? Everything was good until then. Until what? Until what was the thing that stopped everything? Tabitha said, Henry said, we're going to that bottle tree. And right before they get to that bottle tree, all of a sudden, a car just magically hits them that puts them inside of this thing, right? It didn't hit him.
It hit him purposely, might I add.
They definitely hit him purposely, on purpose.
Because I've watched that clip so many times, you don't hear nobody break. And then you know what I'm saying? He was riding the old school hoopty, so you know what that car engine sounds like. And there was a newer car that hit him. There was nobody break. Like when an accident happens, you usually hear a break. Somebody breaks because they just caught what's going on at the very last minute. But this person, you hear the car moving, and then you hear them accelerate, and bam, they hit him. You know, and they
smacked him on purpose to get him in the ambulance in order to bring him and Tabitha back.
And it's the same ambulance that she walked past when she walked outside of the hospital. It's the same exact ambulance.
And it's the same ambulance toy that's in Victor's room.
Facts.
Right? So when we look at this, we could see that this place is a reconstruction of things in the real world to make people feel comfortable. They know that that's from your area, so we're going to put that in there in a toy form. We know that this is the way it goes here, so they're going to put that stuff in there. They also had the tractor and everything else that's on the toys. That's what they're doing. This entity, whatever it is in there, somehow can take, let's say, brain patterns or brain things from people in there, or whatever you want to say that they use. Y'all want to say it's magic, it could be, or just have the ability to do so and able to manifest these people's nightmares into reality. They're able to manifest. So if they know that someone's afraid of something or able to do something for whatever reason, they can manifest these people's fears. They can probably manifest other stuff too, but they choose to manifest their fears into reality. And that's why you get all these things that people were afraid of as soon as they die. And probably they can only access it once they die. And then once they die, they're able to download that and then put that in this holodeck type simulation, which would be easy to do if it is a holodeck situation, because you just have to put the program in. And then that would be it.
Romulans did it all the time. They'd sneak you in an episode. They'd kidnap someone, replace you with somebody, and stick you in a holodeck simulation where your whole family fucking hates you, just to do some weird mental mind test on you.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Now, I'm not against anybody's theory. You know what I'm saying? I think that
you're a nicer person than I am, Real. I'm actively against some people.
Unless you're still talking about Elgin is the time traveling baby of Fatima and Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, we all against that.
Yeah, we wilding out on theories like that. But the Tony's theory about this being some sort of controlled environment, I'm not too mad at that. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's elements of that. I think it's a little bit different, but I totally see where you're coming from. And I can say for sure that this season has probably given the most credence to your theory, actually.
It has. And I would say other seasons have pointed to it, but I think it's I think that they are rounding it out right now.
Right. All the theories are kind of converging. You know what I mean?
And in the end, because next season is going to show the truth. So in the end, we're going to see again. What is that place that people say that has a connection? That one website, they say that From does all their stuff with that one website. It's got like a yellow. It's like a yellow banner. Is it Screen Rec? What is it called? It's one website that they do a lot of work with that website. And they just did like they do interviews with them. They do everything with them. It's always on that one website. And if you look at that one website, who just did something from recently and stuff, Screen Rant. Thank you very much, Screen Rant. The first thing they say in it, from the sci-fi horror show from blah, 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 blah. The exact words that they use to describe it right from the beginning. They just came out with that article, whatever, and you could see it. It says it. The sci-fi horror from is blah, 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 blah. That's exactly the way they did it. And this is the website that works with them more than any other thing. And they specifically build it right off the bat. The sci-fi horror show from blah, 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 blah. That's what they did it. And in the end, I'm telling you, it's going to be some sci-fi stuff. They're disguising it very well right now. They're not to hide it because they don't want to come out right with it. They want it to be like, it's like they disguise other things. The Cabin in the Woods was disguised like that. They disguise it very well. But in the end, when the next season's over, you're going to see it. And I really think that's possible when a tree falls down, that if they chop down that faraway tree, you might see that inside
wires.
Some wires coming out. Or
let me ask you a question. If a doctor gives you a pill,
mm-hmm.
and that pill gives you the strength to lift up a car,
yep,
is that supernatural strength?
No, it's sci-fi. So I used to play a role-playing game called Marvel Superheroes, right? And they were different. And if you took a medicine or got bit by something, gamma radiation or anything, they were considered altered humans, right? If you were born with the power, you were considered a mutant, right? And if you used like
pseudoscience,
and if you use a super suit, you were enhanced human being. And then there's aliens. Those are the categories everything fell underneath. So if you're given Captain America and all that, they're altered humans because they were altered by some type of thing that turned them, whether in the Fantastic Four, the same thing, all that stuff.
Okay, so when you're saying, so your interpretation of supernatural means that it goes beyond science.
Supernatural to me would mean that it's like the show Supernatural, like that shit was this the devil and things like that, and magic or charmed or something like that, charmed and everything else. That is what supernatural would mean to me. Things like that.
Right, something that doesn't have anything to do with science at all.
Yeah, doesn't have anything to do with
Harry
science.
Potter, Charmed, like
Harry
magic.
Potter would be it. That would be supernatural to me. Things like that. It would have to be something like that.
David Copperfield. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
David
Okay,
Blaine and all
so
those douchebags.
so any kind of phenomenon that so you don't think that there's any supernatural aspect at all
I
to
said
this
it,
show?
I mean, if you want to consider, like, if they captured a, let's just say, a fae or alien or it or something like that, would you consider it supernatural, even though he's an alien with doing these powers and manifesting all this stuff? Is he really supernatural, or is he really just an alien who has the ability to do that?
Well, he would remain supernatural until science itself was able to break it down in some sort of doctrine.
Well, then, if you want to say something like that, then I
Yeah,
would
that's
consider that.
supernatural. So
Well,
it, you know,
so I would consider that supernatural. Then, yes.
yeah, because I mean, Pennywise is doing shit. If you can't break down what he's doing, you just can't say, "Oh, well, he's an alien and this is it." You know what I mean? No, you got to be able to break down what he's doing. There is something that he's doing. You just don't understand what he's doing, and it might be just because he's what he is that enables him to do
Yeah.
this. So if it can't be broken down by science, then it's still, in my opinion, classifies as supernatural.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
octopuses would look supernatural to anybody who didn't have the science to back it, right? Or creatures in there who octopuses also have the ability to camouflage themselves and do all that. If no one had the science and you just seen octopuses the way they're able to form their skin and camouflage into any different type of rock structure or leafy structure or anything around it, that would look supernatural to anybody. But
Right.
in the end, we've broken it down and we know exactly
We
why
know what it
they're able
is,
to
so
do
it's
it.
right. Yeah, it falls under the science of that animal. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So if it's a situation like that, I wouldn't say it's truly supernatural if they just have the ability to do it. You know what I mean? Even when Doctor Strange, who's known as a magician in the Marvel universe, and Scarlet Witch, who's known as like a witch and a sorceress in the Marvel universe, in the end, they aren't making magic. They're able to
They're dealing with the technology.
well, no, they're able to harness what they're able to do. They're able to harness energies from different dimensions, and that's what makes their constructs.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that because they're using what we would call magic as a certain technology. Like, look, Thanos had to go get the gauntlet created, and he had to go get a specialist to create this. This person used heat. This person was an ironsmith that created it. You know, the Peter Dinklage character. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay, so that was a technical thing, and you also have the Idris Elba character who's able to send you somewhere. That's their level of technology. It works because it's not a magic thing. It works because it works how it works. If you break that shit, the shit won't work no more.
No, he was using a rainbow bridge, which is a wormhole to flash people from here to there.
Exactly. Right. So, okay, one thing I could say about your theory is it's tried and true with the way you view the world. Like, all right, look, because look, for instance, right, we're breaking down right now that it remains supernatural until we can break it down with science and a certain doctrine or understanding of it.
Mhm.
But that's what you're literally saying that these people are doing. So that is tried and true with what you're saying all the way around. Like, you're saying pretty much they've captured this thing and they're trying to learn and weaponize it, kind of like the Welcome to Dairy situation.
Yes, and I think they used the the worms or the parasites, and they've infected the man in yellow with them, and they've infected other people making experiments with it to see where it goes. But if they're trying to figure out how, whether it's a holodeck situation would be different, which I do think, the more I think about it, I think the best way to describe this town is a holodeck situation where they are able to listen to people, find out exactly what their fears are, load it into the program, and then put those fears out there for these people.
Yes, indeed. And these things, not to sound like Jade, but these things definitely fit in like a certain Venn diagram of sorts where they overlap. And you know, I think that that's why they had Jade say this too, is because we're gonna find ourselves overlapping these theories, and they're all gonna like come. There's gonna be a point in the middle of this weird vesica Pisces, and it's gonna be, you know, we all kind of got a lot of shit right. We all get some. I think a majority. I think most of us are gonna get majority wrong, but our core parts of the story will continue to show. I know mine have. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't really make theories about the narrative as much as I do about the symbolism. I do talk about the narrative a bit. Like, I think Henry's a goddamn liar.
We're gonna put Boss Huxley up here because he wants to be famous a little bit. So we're gonna help him out here. Boss Huxley. He says, "Bro still thinks it's aliens." I think that you should respect the fact that I'm consistent. All right, that's what I would think. Number one, but I would say this: we'll see. As I said, an alien is anything not born from the planet Earth. As I said from the beginning, yes, I do think it's something that's not born from the planet Earth, 100%.
I mean, the first episode of season 4 was called The Arrival, which is there's so many different alien movies called The Arrival or Arrival, or you know what I'm saying?
Star Trek. There's a Star Trek episode called The Arrival as well.
I mean, you got the Star Magic Hotel, you got the magic, you got the out of this world candy bar. You have all these things that are telling you it, but people don't want to see it for whatever it is. Listen, I've had YouTubers interview the creators of the show to try to shoot down my theory, to have them shoot down my theory. I ain't saying that's the reason why they interviewed them, but they brought it up to them to try to have them shoot it down and ask them straight up. People think this is there. Now, if you watch that interview, you will see that they brought up other theories, and every time they brought it up, they shot those theories down. But when they brought up the alien theory, all they said was, "Well, if people want to think that, they could think that."
Right? Yeah, they didn't shoot it down.
Say no. They said no to every other one that he got up to that. But then when it came to that, he said, "Well, if people want to think that, they could think that."
Yeah, they shot down the vampire theory.
They shot down every other one.
They shot that. They killed that one.
They shot down every other one.
They didn't shoot down the Native American history, evil sorcery going on. They didn't shoot that down either, though.
No. So
you know, I can even say this. Boyd did an interview where he said that he would have to have magic to fight the things in front.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how much Boyd knows, and maybe it will seem like magic to him.
I put that in one of my videos. It's in there.
It seems like magic. If you can't understand it, it all seems like magic. No matter what it is, if you see someone just appear and disappear, it looked like magic. But you don't know if that person has a teleportation device on his wrist. But if you can't see it and he's able to appear and disappear, it looks like magic. I think it was magic. If someone just came right now in this room and appeared and said, "Hey, Tony," and disappeared, I'd say this motherfucking magic.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so now we haven't talked about the episode this whole time. I think, thank you for having me up, by the way, brother.
I want to get into the episode.
I want to ask you this real quick. I want to thank you for having me.
Of course, brother.
And I want to say, this build has been amazing, actually. I understand a lot more about your theory every time we talk, and we talk often. But, you know, I understand your theory. I'm on board with what you're talking about as far as there being a the scientific aspect, you know. But
Mhm.
I do have to ask you, and this is just a question that
Of course.
you could probably segue into the episode. But if a person takes a mushroom trip,
Yep.
is that supernatural?
No, it's that's not supernatural because we do it to this day. It's just
I did it
opening
earlier this year. No, sorry.
it's just opening up your mind to things that are blocked. Like what did they say? Humans only could use 10% of their brain. I remember Steve Jobs, he said back in the day that he wishes that Bill Gates would have took acid with him when they were younger, when they met and stuff, because he thinks that his mind could have been even more brilliant if he actually would have took it. So I
You
don't
think Bill Gates is brilliant? That's another conversation.
Yeah, but I'm saying what Jobs said. This is
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's what he said.
So, and you could hear many musicians or many other people who have taken it and say that their mind is freer and they were able to create better because of it. Right. So I just think that acid opens up different spots of your brain that we normally don't are able to use.
You know,
And that's what makes it more things. So I wouldn't say that's supernatural. I would say if someone came and put their finger on your forehead and you got the same effect, then that would be considered supernatural. And if you want to segue that into Sophia, then I am cool with that.
Go for it.
You know what I mean?
I'm quiet. Go for it. I definitely.
But I got Phil. Are you there?
Yeah.
Phil,
Yeah. What's up?
I got it. I got to get off for 1 second. I got shit in my throat. I need to spit it out. Can you hold this?
That's what pause on that one. But yes, I'll take over for a second.
Pause on that. Thank you very much.
Curtis got some stucks.
That's a super pause, right?
That's a super pause right there, dude. That was out of nowhere.
We'll open up the phone lines in a second for you people.
Before we get into the episode, and this is some parts of the episode as well. But you were talking earlier about like the electricity and all that shit. Like part of me also wonders and was thinking when you're talking about it at the time, when did that start? We know this town's been around forever. When did they turn on the electricity? Do they go with the times? You know, they're like, okay, you know, like did they update the jukebox?
Yeah,
you know,
they called in the decorators and shit.
Yeah, dude. Did they do that? Like,
yeah, because like this place looks like it was around before electricity, and so how in the hell? When did they start using electricity?
Did they come in and build the motel with the sign and shit? Because of the Civil War dudes there, like this stuff's been around for before electricity and before there was motels and shit.
Right. Like that's a very good question. That makes me think of so many different more questions. Like, man, I mean, were people from older time periods or earlier time periods experiencing electricity because they got stuck in this place?
Yeah, exactly. Did they set the standard of this town, like with the motel and with the jukebox and all that from the beginning of this loop? And did they bring in people of all different time periods into it, or did they update it? Did they take a break in between massacres and update it and like dress the set like a theater, you know, like in between songs of the show, like, you know, like fuck up the set and then go to the next song like Weird Al does between songs? Did they just like set up the scene every
like where the colonial people chilling at the diner and whatnot?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, where they're like toasting their goblets or some shit. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so that even begs another question. Will we see more buildings being brought in? Will we see something else just pop up in this place? You know?
Yeah, for sure. Someone asked a question earlier about the episode. Let me see if I can find the question. It was about with the dolls being thrown into the water. Well, what was it? Let me see if I can find this in the motherfucking chat here. And like if I can, because okay, wait. Guy in Tabitha's dream threw a perfect doll into the lake. Donna pulled them and stabbed them all, but they came back alive. What the hell happened there? I mean, if we want to go by them being something non-supernatural, it could have been robotic in some way, some sort of kinetic energy, some sort of nanotechnology causing them to move. I don't know if I'm going too dark sci-fi, but do you think those were the actual dolls that got bigger, or were they like different creatures that came in inspired by the dolls? It's a good question from like the actual thing that happened in the episode of like what exactly happened. Did those dolls animate, or was that something different?
Now, I haven't put out a video for episode 5 yet, and I have been like asking that question over and over. Like that, I write my notes in a notebook, and here we have right there, like, were the dolls that were thrown in the water the same dolls that came out of the water? Because
Yeah.
then, how did they get tied to the rope? What was keeping them down in the water? It seems like they were kept down in the water, or something put them there, and he unearthed it and set them free. It seems like they were set free when they pulled them out the water. But
But then they got rocked down, like weighted down. So I guess when they animated alive, when they weren't, because maybe you're right. Maybe
maybe there
pulling on
had
the
to be
rope,
some sort of spell to keep them down there. You just can't toss them down there
there you
and
go with
just think
magic.
that that's it. You have to actually you have to tie that rope to them. You have to do all of the things that was done to them when you found them. Like, you got to put them back the way you found them, or it may be some sort of incantation, or But it seems to me that they were set free. But then that begs the question: if there was just some little tiny dolls that were thrown in the water, where did the rope come from, or whatever?
Yeah, how did they
Maybe.
grow over time? Did they,
But then you have the episode kind of explains it a little bit to you, because obviously these things came out of the water after they were thrown in the water, because they were scaring the shit out of Tabitha in her dream or whatever. And also in her recollection, she knew how to kill them. So they were something that was running around. So I'm thinking that they got bigger, or they materialized from the fear, or whatever. They materialized, or they could have always existed. Who knows? I don't know. You know what I mean? That was very vague. I've been scratching my head on that, but I feel like the episode did give a little bit of answers, just with the context of Tabitha knew how to hurt them. So obviously they had to be something that was hurt before. Someone had to make the totems so that they could hurt these things. You see what I'm saying? So there had to be some rhyme or reason. Like, the totems now remind me of the talismans. Someone had to create the
yeah.
talismans, and do,
And I've asked that before. And who created the talismans? We know Boyd found them. Were they created way before? Were they in a different cycle at a different time? Have they appeared before? Yeah, they had to be. Has
He
Victor
didn't create them; they were sitting there for him. So he didn't create them, so they had to be there.
exactly? Someone had to create them and put them there, either for him or bury them from a former cycle or some shit.
And again, we look at the show, and again, understand. And I know people, whatever y'all whatever it is. And shout out to Jen the teacher. We love Jen the teacher. She's our girl. She's part of the channel. We like that a lot. When we put it out there, they say that, I heard Taryn on your channel. We all watched your thing with him, and definitely everyone go check out that last live that Real did with Taryn, because Taryn dropped a whole lot of stuff on it, and it was really great. And
No, yeah, I think that shit was fire. I watched that shit this morning myself.
Yeah, and he said that the writer said he had a whole mythology of this place, right? And he had the whole mythology of the place, and he had it all laid out on the wall or whatever, and showed them the whole mythology, right? So again, when we look at it, he calls it a mythology, right? And there's a lot of mythologies for a lot of different things. But when we put mythologies together, what they truly are stories that are passed down from generation to generation to explain things that they can't explain, right? So I mean, I remember before I watched what was it, Flintstones, and they said, why is it thundering and lightning? Oh, because the gods are bowling up there. And when they got to strike, the lightning came, and the thunder was the bowling ball rolling on the things. We've heard a lot of things, and whether it's if you go to Roman times or you hear about Odin. Odin did this, and Odin did this, and oh, there's a typhoon coming on, or there's it has to be the god. This is mad at us. That's why this is happening. All mythologies are ways to explain things that humans came up with that they didn't have the scientific knowledge to explain. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. You have a mythology, but the reason why they have a mythology is because the people, when they first started it, when they first started the cycle, they didn't have the technology or the understanding to explain what was really going on. So they used this whole mythology to explain this whole thing. And I think that's what's going on in this place with the whole mythology. It's just a way to explain it because they didn't have the science to do it. And again, you can go through our history. I mean, that's what I tell people. Like, you go back in the days in history, and if we all lived in the Vikings era, right? These people in the Vikings era, if you said something about Zeus or Odin or Hercules and said that shit is bullshit, those people they would have killed you back then.
No cap.
They would kill you. They would kill you like, what? You don't believe in Hermes? You don't believe in this? Oh, and they fucking tear you apart and kill you. But
that's
we know
the same
now,
with Christianity.
That's what I'm saying. But we know now.
Islam is the same way. Like
Exactly.
all the religions had some sort of inquisition.
Exactly. So what we know now, we know better that there is no Zeus. There was none of that stuff going on there or anything else. I'm not saying that they never existed or anything like that, but I'm just saying we know better, right? Because what they use that stuff for.
There was probably some dude named Zeus. I've seen No Holds Barred. Tom Tinnellis, like
Depot was somebody's ass, and they was like, "That's why we're gonna name the story after him."
Yeah, totally. There's a Zeus.
But what I'm saying is that it was a way to explain things that they couldn't explain at the time because they didn't have the technology to explain the thunder, to explain the lightning, to explain why there were typhoons in the seas that wrecked ships and everything else, because they didn't know about meteorology. They didn't know about how rain actually forms in the clouds. They didn't know about all that stuff. Lightning to them seemed like a supernatural power. We know it's not supernatural. You could rub somebody's hair and get electrical charge from it, right? So, but to them back then, they thought it was different. And that's the way I look at the mythology when I hear this whole thing goes down.
Okay. I love it. For real. Oh, yo, I'm gonna tell you this though. It's not a theory, it's him pointing out the symbolism about the man in yellow and what the entity really is. And man, his shit is compelling. I think that
it is. He is very compelling. He is very 100%. It sounds perfect. He's
been calling this entity Azazel for a long time. And since season 2. And
he might be right. It might be that.
And I mean, this season right here, it's almost like they read the theory and said, okay, let's put this in there.
It's
magic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It might be that. I'm not the one to tell you that. I'm not the one. I would never say Terran's wrong. I don't know if he's wrong or if he's right. I have no idea. I just know that we'll all find out together. And I think that everything he says, it makes perfect sense, and I understand why he says it. And
I think it would be dope as hell if at some point they come out and say, my name is Azazel. However, if they don't do that, I'm still satisfied with knowing that the symbolism for Azazel was definitely inserted into the show. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine. Like when I mean, now I spoke about Sophia in the last season. Okay. and then they came out with a character named Sophia this season. So that for me, like, and I know people thought that I was bugging with a lot of my theory. A lot of my shit hit heavy. The Cabbage Patch Dolls, that hit heavy. They dropped that this season. What else did they do? Jim's death last season, I was referring to him as the widow's son, Hiram Abiff, which he dies. And I was saying it because he was kneeling like the funeral procession for the widow's son. And it's a Masonic ritual. And boom, him dying. But that would mean that he might be resurrected. So if he is, that would be crazy. I'm surprised that they did come out with a character named Sophia. Like, I was bugging when I heard the news. But
dude, I want to go to Vegas with you.
I know, right?
Dude, pick me a number. But I know there's people out there that are saying
it's magic. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I know somewhere out there you're saying that. It's okay.
Of course they are, but there's also people saying
we have
this.
all sorts of stories, mythologies, legends that could be interpreted as gods, who in reality were misinterpreted extraterrestrials.
Yo, that's where I'm going. That's why I'm not mad at the alien theory. I just don't want it to be like, motherfucking gray dudes with big heads and big eyeballs and shit. Like, I don't want it to be no shit like that. Fire in the sky type of bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I just think it's gonna. I mean, listen, they're coming out reports right now. They're saying that we got reptile people and all this visit. All right, well, we're talking about the episode. We'll go into
the reptile people been here before us.
So they're coming out with that right now, right? All these releases stuff.
The reptile people was here before us. This is they shit.
I saw Super Mario Brothers, the movie, that first one, the Dino Manhattan. I saw that shit.
Oh, they was dropping jewels in
that. They secretly, that movie was
was dropping the jewels in that. They was talking about ancient reptilian races right here.
Exactly.
That's what Mario Brothers. Yo, listen, I have all of this going in there, like about the Did you see my clip about Mario Brothers and how the faraway trees are like the warp pipes?
Yeah, the warp pipe. Yeah, that's what actually popped into my head a little bit.
And then Storywalker Fred has the fucking toolbox. He's looking like Mario from the live action cartoon mashup.
There was a dude on Survivor that went to go visit his buddy that was dressed like Survivor in the finale, dressed like Mario in the finale. He was wearing like Mario overalls. Did you see that dude, Tony? Like it was one of the dude's brothers was dressed in the Mario overalls.
No, listen, it can all, and I am not a pipe is one way that they always use to define. In fact, there's a big study, if you go look at it, of how a wormhole works, that you go through one side of the pipe and you come out the other side of the pipe and you'll be in a different dimension. Everything will look the same, but it will be something off about it that puts you in there. But they use that pipe analogy in science to say it all the time. You go in one side of the pipe, and when you come out the other pipe, you're in an alternate dimension.
And you got the Mario mushrooms, Jade's popping Mario mushrooms.
Oh, yep. Absolutely.
These guys are from the era where they grew up playing that game. So I wouldn't put anything past them ever saying anything like that.
And tossing those little. I think that they're just throwing out a bunch of dope ass symbolism for us to have fun with. They're going to have a great show. They're going to round it up and make it great. You won't be happy about everything, but I think the show is definitely cooking. Like, that last episode was my favorite episode of the entire series thus far.
Yeah, it's close. It's between that one and the premiere.
The premiere is still my favorite one.
Those are my top two. Those are my S tier.
It's still hard to top the premiere episode.
What, the first episode?
Yeah.
I think they topped it. In my opinion, it was so much more going on, so many working parts. I think that I could say that they're even.
Yeah.
We got it's Bill. I think it's Bill. It says, "Why are we talking about aliens and UFO? This is a grim horror. LOL. It's sci-fi off the baby seat. I don't know what that last part means, but if you're saying this is a grim horror series,
The baby scene. I want to analyze what sci-fi off the baby scene means.
I don't
first.
know what that means, but I mean, if it's a grim horror tale, then it's a grim horror tale. We'll see. It could be. I'm not here to tell you that it's not. All I'm here is telling you what I think. I'm not trying to convince you on anything. I don't care. I'd rather no one agree with me. I'd rather be the only person here that agrees with it. So that way, when I'm right, I can take all the credit. You know,
Victor did pull out some little green men last season.
Listen, so yeah, he did. I am about it. We'll see what happens. It happens to be grim horror tales, and they're just using this book, and this book is being manifested into life. Then you have to ask the question, why is this book being manifested into life, and how is that, and how are they able to do that? You know, when you look, you were talking about the monsters and everything else that came out the water. From what she's saying, again, I'll put this in the video, but I'll say it now. You can't believe everything that these people are saying. That Tabitha said, oh, these things scared him, and that's why he threw it in the water. That may be the reason why he threw it in the water, and maybe that's why they manifested those creatures into those things. But it could also be done. Tabitha could have had something to do with that shit. You seen how mad she was sitting there watching her dolls go off into the water? She was pissed off, that little girl.
Yeah, you don't fuck with a child's toys.
Maybe somehow she manifested.
You don't fuck with. You take kids' toys and throw them in the fucking wall.
They didn't attack Tabitha for a reason. They didn't attack her for a reason.
They're her babies, Tony.
They could have attacked her anytime they wanted. They showed the guy and looked at her, actually went after the other guy.
No, that's some true shit though.
Sorry.
Have y'all ever seen them little people? The toy. They're like a little toy. They're called Little People.
Look it up.
If you think stepping on a Lego is bad, you step on one of them fucking little people.
Do they scream and shit, dude?
I still feel it on the bottom of my foot. Like maybe 2 days ago, I stepped on one and I picked it up and I said, man, I'm about to throw this shit away. And I just looked over at my daughter.
Oh, these little fucking, and they're pointy at the top. Like
my God, bro. That shit, they're hard plastic.
Yeah.
Like
dude.
The arms don't move or none of that shit, bro. I stepped on one of them shits and I felt that shit in my shoulder. Like I stepped on that shit. I felt that shit. It sent a shock wave through my body. It's like 50 times worse than a Lego. Like a Lego ain't shit to this. I'd rather step on a Lego. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit right here, I'm telling you, it sent a shock wave through my entire body. I was about to throw it in the trash. And like you said, you don't fuck with a kid's toy. The look my daughter gave me when I said I was about to throw that little person in the trash, I was like, yo, here, just put this away. Take these away. Don't let them stay on the floor like this. Daddy just stepped on that. It's one of them kind of pains where you can't even scream. It's just like a, like.
And then you motherfuck to yourself there.
Yeah, no, I've hurt myself many times. So I have especially your feet, you know, whether it's stubbing your small toe, and it's always the small toe that gets stubbed. Like the big toe might be able to take it, but to catch it, the small toe catches it.
Dude, and you fuck that shit up, it keeps hurting every time. Like it takes.
No, I've hit my small toe and had to do a military roll in order to save myself from falling on my face. Like stubbed my toe and then went down and just rolled with it. And
there's some battle cat.
Yeah, like I had no choice. You know what I mean? And everything else and all that good stuff. And
one time I stubbed that motherfucker, it felt like it fell off and rolled across the room.
Yeah, you got to look. You got to check and make sure it's there.
Yeah.
First thing you do.
Small. You can lose a pinky toe just like that.
Yeah, you got to look. Oh, it's still there, motherfucker.
But I mean,
shot off my pinky toe.
And this little girl here, she had these little dolls. It don't look like toys are easy to come by in the time period that this little Tabitha was in either.
Etsy wasn't a thing back then. You know,
but Megan had a similar doll to that doll.
Yeah, you know,
I mean, the doll Megan had was similar to that doll. I mean, it wasn't 1-to-1, but people could say, "Oh, it's not 1-to-1." But the dolls that came out the ocean weren't 1-to-1 what Tabitha had. It's not the same dolls.
But you say something interesting, Tony. You said the look on the little girl's face, she was pissed off about him throwing them shits in the water like that. Could it be possible that she made them come alive?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Her being so close.
Yeah, everyone wants to say, you want to say that it was this guy because he feared it, but it could have been something that Tabitha did to get revenge for her dolls being thrown in that fucking water.
Or because she just has some emotional connection to the dolls. They were animated through her connection to them. And so she didn't even realize it's something passive dormant in one of her past connections or other timeline selves that's connected to those things. And they came sort of automatically without any.
Oh, and you know what? You and Tony just hit it on the head. You and Tony just hit it on the head. Pause. What you're saying, I'm feeling that real heavy, and I'm gonna add one element into it that I don't really hear too many people talking about. Is the dolls were singing?
Yeah. Oh, the singing. Yep.
The dolls were singing. One of the little dolls were singing, and it had to have learned that song from the little girl. So there is some sort of connection there to the dolls. They weren't just some fucking nightmare or something.
No,
the dolls actually were singing, and also Eloise's singing was brought up in that episode as well. I thought that was very interesting. I put that in my notes.
Everyone's talking about Eloise except for her dad. Her dad never fucking mentions her.
Right, and so you have you have that connection where the doll was singing. Now there was another time where one of the monsters was singing. You remember that?
Yes, they used to sing. They used to screech when they first got there.
But no, this one was singing.
Which one was singing?
It was singing a song that we all know.
Leaving on a jet plane. No, not Henry.
No, it wasn't singing that one. Does anybody remember? I brought this up in my live stream, I believe. But it was singing Farrah Jaka at the bus with Randall. That first night where he was like, "It's a fucking rock in the fucking window." Like, that episode, that scene right there, I believe it was the nurse or the diner monster was singing Farrah Jaka.
Demo says it was the nurse. I totally forgot that.
Yeah. And, I was like, okay, what's this mean here? So I learned all about Friar Jacques, and Friar Jacques became like a surgeon. You know what I'm saying? And also did, like, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, I'm probably mistaken, but if I'm not mistaken, I know he did one of the first surgeries of its kind, but it might have been the gallbladder surgery.
The bile.
Yeah, I think he did the first gallbladder surgery, and his name was Friar Jacques. But that's what the song Farrah Jaka is about. Because back in the day, clergymen used to be the motherfuckers that did all the surgeries and shit like that. And this guy existed at a time where they were putting a stop to that, and they were making the barbers, like people that were barbers were the ones pulling the teeth. You have them pulling teeth here. Barbers were the ones amputating limbs, busting your boils for you. You know what I'm saying? All that, like doing most of your surgeries.
Do you want the full kidney thing, or do you want? What do you put? You go into the barbershop? I'll take the kidneys out, please.
Yeah. What you want? The kidney removal with that edge up? Or
yeah. You want me to clear that up too? I'll fix your sideburns too with the kidney removal.
Yeah, that's crazy as hell. But then you have the barber pole outside of Colony House as well. You know what I'm saying? So the symbolism is definitely there, Tony, and I don't think it's not there for no reason. Like,
I'm not telling you it's not there for no reason. I would never tell you that. I think the symbolism is there 100%. I'm not saying that it's not at all. I would never say that. You know what I mean?
They drop so much though. Like, it's so much, it's hard to keep up with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think some of it will be arbitrary. You know what I mean? Most of it will be.
I think the big things matter. Like, I would say, like, like when Toby died and the Raven poem was behind him, it was wiped away. I think that means something.
The lighthouse matters.
I think that when Kenny's dad died and it had the R.I.P. stuff behind him, that was symbolism because he died right after that, and now we see that Randall is standing next to that sign and stuff too. So it could be a foreshadowing. I think it's things like
I
that.
saw an amazing theory, and it's like, okay, so we're so far in the show, and this theory's about Jade, but it's like we're so far in the show, we feel like we know this character, and we would never think that this was possible. But what if the theory I saw was on a Facebook group, and the original poster of the theory was not the person that posted the theory in the group or whatever.
They were sharing somebody else.
Yeah, they were sharing somebody else's video. So I wish I could accredit this creator. I don't like saying other people's shit without saying where I got it from. But but this person said, what if Jade was the man in yellow? And I laughed at first, you know what I'm saying? But as I kept watching the video, this girl was really on point. Let me tell you something she said. Not one time did Toby mention Jade at all. And Jade was like laying down in the back seat. And every single thing that played out with the man in yellow played out exactly the same way with Jade. They were in a crash. The one person, somebody sitting next to the guy that dies at the clinic, Sophia was sitting there just like Sarah. All of these things were happening. Not one time did Toby mention that there was somebody, that he was traveling with somebody.
But he didn't have a chance to.
Oh, yes, he did. Like that's what I thought. That's the first thing I said. Well, how could he say he was just in a car accident? But he was talking to her and everything. He didn't say anything like, yo, where's Jade? He didn't say Jade's name one time. Like, and you saw all of the Matthews was worried about their children, the people that they were in the crash with. But this dude was not worried about Jade whatsoever. He didn't mention Jade. And then it was just like strange how Jade was just laying in the back seat like that. You know what I'm saying? As if he was hiding. And he comes in there and he's playing a game. He's playing a game. What if he's playing a fucking game?
But we've seen then there would have to be two man in yellows then.
Well, there may be, yeah.
That's the only way it works. If we know the man in yellow is Sophia,
okay. What I mean? Well, who put Jim in the barn?
I think the monsters put him in the barn.
Okay, so the monsters put him in the barn. Who hung the? So they must have been who hung the goat, the ram up and everything too.
Yeah, they did all that. Like he told them the watchers.
Yeah, he told. So you think that the man in yellow is in league with the monsters?
I think he runs them. I think he's the general of the monsters.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
so that would explain the suitcase.
Doug Hugh, when he came on, he said that he's seen himself as an executive of the monsters.
Oh, he said that.
Yeah, when he came on the channel, he said he's seen himself in upper management.
Do you guys think we're going to see Doug again before the end of the season? Like on the show? I mean,
story walking. Like while Julie's story walking, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he was an upper management of the monsters. That's what he felt like the character.
That's what he said. That's what he felt like. Okay, that could be some strong information right there.
I mean, it's a good theory, and I understand what she's saying, and we have seen, and it would make sense now. But the fact that we have just seen, unless there's another person, only way it works, that theory, is that there's another person that Christopher was reincarnated as, and it wasn't Jade. So if Christopher, let's say, was reincarnated as Jim, then it would work.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they're telling us that it's been Jade, then it doesn't work for that, because Jade hasn't been killed, and it wouldn't work for Jim because the man in yellow doesn't want to kill anybody himself unless forced to. Like he was forced to kill Jim. He don't want to kill Jim. He wants them to kill each other so he can watch for his amusement. That's his whole thing. Right now, Sophia can go through the
I
whole
think
town
Jim
and kill
died
everyone.
because he knew about the reincarnation thing.
I think Jim died because he came up and solved the mystery of the song and everything else, and that's why. And he allowed his wife to dig the hole and
Dig the hole.
expose
Yeah,
them
should have
for
dug that
what
hole,
they
Jim.
are. You know what I mean? So I think all that stuff is what led him to have to kill Jim. Like,
Or he was on some path to help out breaking the cycle. Just like
he says to Jim, I'm sorry, Phil. He says to Jim, I always liked you. Right? That's what he says before he kills him. Like, I always liked you.
Right.
Like I liked. So that means if he's liked him, what did he like about him? And when did he have a chance? He's been watching the whole time. And he's liked him. Like I liked you. It shouldn't have had to come to this.
I mean, Jim gets his throat ripped out, and he's able to say, "Fuck you."
Mm-hmm.
And when the man in yellow said, "I always like you," he should have said, "Pause." I mean, what are we talking about?
I don't think Jim and Boyd are really supposed to be there. I think there's certain people that get brought in, kind of like what Tony, you were saying, with people that were just on the bus are just fodder to fill out the numbers. And I think Jim and Boyd are people that sort of break the cycle and maybe can get them out of there or be forces to get them out of there. And I think Jim probably clicked a few too many boxes and got in the way and was too far down the line, even if he didn't even realize how far down the line he was. So they needed to he had to go. He had to go.
He had to go. Like, listen,
gotta go.
If you would have told your wife not to dig the hole, not to do this stuff, I could have just sat back and watched you until it was time for me to watch. Because the man in yellow he didn't want to kill Jim. Like from what he's saying, I always liked you. Yeah, I don't want to do it. Like I'm forced to do this now. Like you're forcing my hand. What you have done has forced my hand to have to kill you. I didn't want to have to kill you. Because the man in yellow could right now go through the town and kill everybody, but he doesn't want to. He wants them to kill themselves so he can watch. He gets enjoyment out of that. That's his favorite part. He doesn't want to kill them. He wants them to kill each other. He enjoys it. He gets off of it. He beats off to it. Whatever it is, he enjoys that part.
Spiritually beats off to
it.
He
wishes that lasts forever of them killing him. He finds joy in that. He doesn't want to have to come because right now Sophia can go through that town and rip everyone apart anytime she wanted. Chooses not to. Doesn't want to do that. They want the favorite part is to watch these people tear each other apart, and that's what he's waiting for.
Do we see Sophia eat liver?
We haven't seen her eat anything.
I mean, do we see her eat liver at some point in this series?
I don't think they have liver to serve her.
Like, no, I'm talking about somebody's liver like we saw the man in yellow doing.
Oh, I thought you meant like a diet and shit, like they were serving that shit up. And she's gonna order the liver. I'll take the liver.
She's gonna eat some kitty liver.
I'll take the liver right there.
Liverwurst.
I will say when she came on the channel with me and Phil, she said if she had to, think about her part in the season, give a word for it, everything. The phrase she gave wasn't a word. She said was "catch me if you can." So I would have to say she's going to be undercover for just about the whole series until they actually catch her.
And so who's going to do that?
Acosta. We'll figure it out.
That's what I think. I think Acosta is going to find something that leads to it. I do think we might. But to answer your question, Rio, I do think we might have a scene where she's dining on someone's liver at some point before the season ends. Especially once she's busted and goes full like doesn't give a fuck anymore and she's out there.
I don't think they can hurt or kill her. I don't think there's nothing they can do to her.
But that's the question: is the body mortal, Tony? Can they actually hurt her?
No, I don't think they can.
No, I don't think they can.
I think they can because two things. First of all, we saw the whole arm breaking thing with Sophia. That's a real break.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Like
That's a real break. That's the swelling. Everything is consistent. I don't see, but we are talking about a shapeshifter, so there's that. But one very interesting detail in Miranda's paintings, allegedly Miranda's paintings, the man in yellow looks a lot younger. And so one thing that we can know, one thing that we do know is that they at least age. You know what I'm saying? So like the man in yellow ages, you know what I'm saying? Because he was younger in the picture with that painting in the basement. And so
that's what makes me think he was a regular guy who got experimented on.
Okay.
Like I would look at it more like a Resident Evil type situation. If we look at the game Resident Evil and the Mega Man-sized seed, all those creatures in that show would look like there's some supernatural creatures, but in the end, they're just mutations from people taking this drug and turn people into zombies and everything else,
Jesus Christ, you're making me hungry, JT. Oh my God.
I think it could be something like that going on there and stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm about to make some buttered chicken loaded
fries.
Yeah,
dude, I'm sorry to interrupt the show for this, but that sounds fucking delicious.
You mean you think? What are you talking about here? All right, let's go through some of these super chats we got. I'm behind. Saggy Star, thank you so much. I think we should do a deep dive on why Victor's dad has never mentioned Eloise. I've said this before. I don't even think we saw pictures of her in the house. I don't think she exists. I put the picture. She is in the house, but the pictures in the house of her is much older than when she passed away. So
that's somebody else. It's his niece.
It could be, but it's what Victor. So I think it's something like that. But yes, there is. Why wouldn't he bring up Eloise? He cares about his wife so much and dying, but he's not concerned about his daughter dying. I think you might be more broke up on your daughter than your wife. Fatima says, after Abby, I believe Donna wanted to separate herself from the town. They didn't hold Boyd responsible, but they couldn't live in the town after that. So Donna, I'd say that happened. I think Donna claimed Colony House from the beginning, and she was sent there to do so because she was needed to be in a position of power. And that's why, but she was able to stay up in Colony House after Boyd got the talismans and made it feasible to stay there. And
I want to say something about Fatima's super chat. Really dope answer to the question about what happened after Abby. And I'll even add to that. I think that once that happened there, Ellis saw that. It's not like something Ellis heard about or heard that happened. He was there to bear witness to it. The mom almost shot him. So he and Donna was also there because Abby was about to shoot Donna.
Yep.
So Donna has, the monster, that scarecrow thing getting Donna wasn't the only time her ass has been up under the heat. She probably, you know what I'm saying, been up under the heat several times. But he saved Donna and Ellis from getting shot. And Donna and Ellis end up together at Colony House. And
listen, that may be the factor that got Donna to say, fuck it, I'm not trying to stay down here in this town. I'm going to Colony House.
The first thing we saw Donna is she saying, boy, you're not allowed to come up here. Why?
Yeah, they probably set some sort of rule after the fact where yes, I agree with you, Tony, that right away Donna claimed Colony House, but probably after the shooting, they set up a scene where, Boyd, you're not allowed to go up there. Separating, like, we make a decision, people come here, they decide where they go, and then story's over. They're with.
Yeah, because you hear Father Khatri say, listen, you choose Colony House where you live for the day, where every day is special, and that's their motto. So we just live for the day and don't worry about the future. And that's what Donna was behind, convincing people that we're just going to live for the day. Let's not try to find a fucking way out of here. Let's not try to do nothing. Let's just live here and live for the day. That's the motto of Colony House, or you moved into the town. And that's what it was. And I think that Donna, for her experiment, was good to separate people like that.
Yep.
Big EF, thank you so much. Says Cavs Code 8 worst shrooms than Jade did in the last episodes. Knicks feasting on the Cavs. Coach is like, of course, yeah. We're going to the finals. The Knicks are going to the finals. I'm not trying to jinx it, but we going to the finals.
You can say it. There's no jinxing at this point. Come on, dude.
And then when we get there, we're gonna take out these other teams that everyone thinks are better than us. This is our year. This is our year.
Yo, can I get an update on our what was that board that we did where we chose?
Oh yeah, the death draft.
Bill has it.
No one's died yet, so we don't have anyone. So Real, you have Christy, Acosta, Elgin, Victor, Kenny, Jade. Your first pick for first death is Christy, and then I forget what your other some of your bonus picks. I'd have to go through it because I don't have the key here, but both dogs are gonna die, and we're gonna see another nightmare creature die at some point. Tony's got Ellis, Donna. Tony could have got 2 in the last episode if it wasn't for fucking plot armor. Like Tony has Ellis and Donna in that last scene. We're protected by the armor of the plot. Sarah, Sophia, Henry, Tabitha. Tony's got a good list. He's got Jim. He got points for finding Jim dead in the barn. Ellis gets killed in the settlement. Would have got points for that, but didn't. I have Fatima, Bakta, Randall, Marielle, Julie, Ethan. I
think you're gonna get for Randall. I think Randall might die. Him being in front of that sign that Kenny's dad died in front of.
And I also got easy points for I took the bunny with saying the man in yellow is going to be Sophia with both you guys. Oh, you're taking that easy points. I got the easy points right there. And I said Eloise is going to be in the Scarecrow area, and I haven't been right about that.
So we don't know. That's still to be determined. What up to Slice of Horror, who came on our channel and was chilling with us and stuff. We had a great time with her, and everyone check out the Slice of Horror channel. We would love to have her back sometime whenever she's good. She's good people, Real. If you ever get a chance, check her out.
Okay.
She's from the ATL.
Oh, okay. Okay. She out of my neck of the woods. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Good people. Gabby was also in here earlier. Great to see Gabby in the chat as well.
Know that about
Oh yeah, Gabby is great, yo. I'm telling you, we was cooking through Severance.
Yeah, she was in the chat earlier.
Oh, what? I missed you. I'm sorry.
I saw her say hi earlier.
I'm sorry, I missed you, Gabby. I'm sorry. We gotta have Gabby back on too. Love to have Gabby back on.
Yeah, Gabby cooks.
Yeah, we'd love to have her back on and stuff. We'll do like a whole thing with a bunch of content.
Yeah, we might have something fun coming up soon.
Yeah, we'll have
for the finale.
Yeah, we'll do it before the finale, and we'll do a bigger one for the finale and stuff.
It would have been crazy if we would have did it on this break.
Yeah, we could. We gotta work things out.
When was
what we're talking about? Sometimes our timing sucks.
Did y'all know that the break was going to happen?
No, I didn't know till this week.
Yeah, I didn't know until that happened. Yeah, I was like, what?
I feel like they could have done a better job telling us at the beginning of the season.
No context whatsoever. It says, Tony, I don't think Sarah can be Eloise because Sarah doesn't have any pieces of her missing. Victor said he buried all the pieces. I think that Sarah is the reincarnated Eloise, so the pieces wouldn't matter. I think when it's all said and done, that's where it's going to come down. That it will set that. Listen, they really want you to believe that Eloise is still alive, and I understand it, and I also believe that she's still alive. It seems like she should still be alive. The way they set it up and everything else, it seems like she is, and I know,
right, dude?
But she really has to be. But for something in me is just telling me that it's Sarah for some reason. I don't know why, but something's just telling me that it's Sarah.
So you believe that Victor did find her body?
I just believe that something in me is telling me it's Sarah for some reason. I just gotta go.
So in order for it to be Sarah, you're saying that she had to die.
Yes.
So she could be reincarnated into Sarah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something is telling me it's Sarah. Like it's just something just keeps saying it's Sarah. It's gonna be Sarah when it's all said and done.
I think we're gonna see an older woman, and it's gonna be Eloise, either outside having something to do with rendezvous, or the author of the Chromanacle, like Demo said, that was his theory. I agree with that. Or if she's in, I'm twixt in between, like if she's in or out. I'm not solid on if Eloise is in or out. One thing about the Eloise situation is it came out of nowhere and it's been very vague. And there's been statements made about Eloise that don't add up with anything we're seeing from anybody's narrative, right? For instance, this is the biggest one, and I've said this multiple times. How would Eloise have told Victor that his mom went to the tower if she ran behind her? That would mean that Eloise ran behind the mom, seen her go towards the tower or the bottle tree, and come back and tell Victor and then go back and then disappear or something. Victor said that Eloise told him, yo, mom went to the tower. That's what he said.
Yeah,
So
no,
how,
I can't. That's all in my video, so I can't. I'll talk about all of that. With
you
the video.
do? Oh, you talk about that in the Victor video? Okay.
I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
because
to this.
I've said that in a couple of videos already. What does she do? Run there and then come back and tell him? Because that's kind of what he said. But that doesn't make any sense.
No, I got it all in there with Victor and his lies that he's been told this whole time. That
Do
Victor,
you think it's lies or misremembering? Because this,
I say both things in there. That I say lies, but if people wanted to say that he misremembered, then that's fine. We can accept it both ways. But in the end, he's not telling the truth.
Nah, he's not. There, I think that there are things that he's not. A half truth is a whole lie, and an omission is a lie. So if you omit things or leave things out or don't tell things, that's the equivalent of a lie.
It's a lie of omission. You know?
It's a lie of omission, and that's what Victor has stated several times. I don't want to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to, Jade asked him about the symbol. He didn't say anything about the symbols, yet he had just came out the goddamn tunnels with Tabitha and they saw the symbol down there. He didn't say nothing about it.
100%. I mean, it's like I said, he never mentions the cycle of people who were there before those people were there, before Tabitha and all of them arrived. He never talks about those people. He acts like he was there by himself the whole time. But the cars in the parking lot prove that they're from the 80s and 90s. He was there in the 70s. Everyone died in the 70s. So there should be no 80s and 90s car there. So who was the next flock of people?
It's like the Saturday Night Live cast. Everyone remembers the 90s cast and everyone remembers the first cast, with Belushi and stuff. But they don't remember that Anthony Michael Hall and frickin' whatever. There were some people that were in there in the middle of the important ones, Tony, that kind of filled in the gap. There was no way. I heard you guys talking about that when I was setting up. There's no way on earth Victor was there all alone between two groups. There were different casts there. They just weren't the important casts. They were people that just came in. What happened to
the Victor from episode 107 that hopped up with a damn rope, tied it, did a fucking sailor's knot to the beam and threw it out the window? What happened to that?
Who knew that? I'm
Rambo
saying Victor. Because it's
Rambo Victor, yeah,
this is the easy way, and I'll say it now that people should have already picked up on, and I'm sure a lot of people have, that there were people there in between, and Victor wasn't there. Because I hear people all say, "Oh, Victor survived by himself all the way till Donna got there," because Donna's the oldest person that we know have been there. We don't have anyone before Donna on record that's been there, even though I think Father Kotri and them probably came at the same time, but. That's the early. So people say, "Oh, Victor survived that whole time on his own." It's impossible for him to survive that whole time on his own. There's no way that happened because we have the facts. The fact is, we've seen the massacre. When Victor was dead, everyone got wiped out then. But yet Victor was still able to draw pictures of a flood. So that means that the second group of people that were in there before Donna and them got there all got wiped out by some type of flood. And he's standing on top of the roof with just trying to survive the fun. So they all died from that way. But he don't talk about those people for some reason. All those people don't get talked about. It just goes
Okay,
from
so
those
you're saying that Victor. So you're saying that there are more timelines where are more parts of the timeline, and Victor has still survived through all of this going
Yeah.
on over and over.
Yeah, when Victor died, when the people died in the 70s, there was another group of people that were brought in between Donna and Boyd and East cast
Yeah.
that were there, and those people were wiped out in the flood because that's why he drew the flood. They all
Before
got wiped
watching
out.
it a couple of times, I kind of assumed that automatically. Like, but then watching it a couple of times, um, I think there was actually a point in there where that Victor tells Tabitha that he survived there by himself all that time.
Yeah, but he lies and says he survived by himself.
But he could be lying, right? And
It's a
he's
straight
not
lie.
talking about other
And they
people.
only show you the time that Victor, the 70s time Julie goes back to and all that. And then it shows you in modern time. It doesn't show you what happened in between there. There's something happened in between there and never show what happened in between there.
Yeah, that's crazy because sometimes your first thought could be right. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Like, when you first watch From, you're like, damn, Victor, people just keep coming here and this dude just keeps surviving and shit. That's kind of how I took it. But they try to clear it up out of there in season 2. They get that out your mind in season 2 with the whole him communicating with Tabitha and shit.
Yeah.
So, and you know that this guy lies because he lied to Jay about the symbol. He's like, I don't know what that is. The guy, all I know is the guy seen it. You know, this guy, but he didn't say that. He was just in the he was just in the goddamn tunnels with the symbol and didn't say nothing about it. So yeah, no. I'm tracking what you're saying. Victor's definitely, well, there's two characters that have stated several times that, yo, I'm not going to talk about that. And that's Donna and Victor. Donna and Victor have done that multiple times. They keep shit to themselves, and she's giving him the peaches and shit.
Yeah. Like, and what happened to those people if they were wiped out in the flood? Why were they wiped out in the flood? Why didn't the man in yellow massacre them that way that time? Why was it a flood this time? You know what I mean? That's just what that's. Just
this might sound arbitrary, but I think it's kind of connected or something that we should at least think about, keep in the back of your mind, that the peaches started running out when the Matthews got there.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden everybody got to die.
And now all of a sudden some shit's happening. The peaches definitely have something to do with it because, like one of the people in the chat pointed out earlier, and I pointed this out in the video before too. I pointed this out in the video last year. The peaches in his room with the wallpaper, but also the old maid game. And Debbie Bo Bebby tipped my hat on this. She gave me the clue to that about the old maid game. And the old maid game matches damn near everybody we're seeing inside the damn show.
I hate
all the monsters. Pretty much all of the monsters are in the old maid game.
I hated old maid. I really hated that game.
You know, I never played that.
I played
was that the one that you had the deck of cards and then one of the cards was the old maid and you had to like.
I hated fucking old fucking maid. I've always hated that game. Hated it in kindergarten.
I'm mixing it up with Guess Who.
I was playing spades and shit.
Yeah, kindergarten I was playing old maid. Well, because I always hated old maid. I could never.
Kindergarten I was playing shit like goldfish and shit.
Yeah, I could not stand it at all. All right, people, we've been there for 2 hours and 30 minutes. Let me get up out of here. I got to get to bed. Even though a lot of people have tomorrow off, I do have tomorrow off, but unfortunately, I have a lot of paperwork I got to do, so I do have to get up and get that done. And I got to get y'all video out there and stuff like that. So people are like, we used to play strip poker in kindergarten.
What?
Lee? What are you talking about, brother?
Maybe in high school, but no.
That's a different type of kindergarten you was in, brother.
I'm trying to turn this into the after dark joint.
No, we did the after dark the other night. Man, you weren't here for it.
Oh, damn.
We did it the after dark.
We had a little mini after dark. We did.
People was going in on it. It was a little wild. I had to delete the video as I always do and stuff.
Oh shit, I missed it. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was wild. It was Jen the teacher was on it. She came on.
I might hop on the after dark joint.
Yeah,
I might do one.
Christina the Sphinx came on. She was on. KP came on. Christina the Sphinx and Anna was on. We were all on the after dark stuff. Yeah. That's no context. So yeah, it got wild. It got wild. It did get wild. It got a little. I mean, that's just the way it goes in after dark, though. You know what I mean?
Thanks for having me, fam. Anytime, man. You know you can hop up on my live anytime.
Yeah, no, I love having you, man. Anytime, appreciate you coming through as always and stuff like that. Ladies and people, we will be back with another stream before the episode drops. Promise you that. We'll try to work things out with other creators and do a big mega stream with everybody else like that. All right. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for your boys. Go subscribe to Real's channel. The link has been in the description and it's been in the chat. We'll throw in the description. Make sure you subscribe to Fill the Issues Guys channel. Link will be in the description. We'll get that done. Good night to all of y'all and everything else. But before we go,
night chat.
Before we go, let's end it on a good note.
So, like, if Acosta had to create her perfect man, like an avatar, the Don Tony Teflon would be it.